Okay. So this is a WIKISPEED stand-up meeting, um, October 2nd, 2014. Basically, first we'll go over the backlog or any demos of what we were able to complete last week. And I'll go ahead and go first to kick us off. I do need to share my screen here. I was really only worked on one thing. So let me share that. So I've been working on WIKISPEED curriculum for my local college here, Tarrant County College District, to try to get them some stuff they can use in their CAD department first. And I'm going after mechanical CAD since that's the seems to be the most published on open source ecology over there. So basically, this is I think last week I had done, or the previous week, I started a little layout on what all the lessons would be. This is just basically a booklet I'm starting to put together that can be either for instructor or student use that they can pick and choose from that will actually go through each lesson. It's definitely still in rough draft format, but like the first lesson here would be for just the individual chassis tube. I took a graphic from the completed chassis, but and then, like I said, very, very basic. I've got learning objectives, what the actual assignment is. The objectives are not complete. But what the assignment is, and then when the due date is. And I basically started laying out lesson 2 as well, which will be the engine and interior module tubes. I have several notes here that aren't super important they're important for creating it. It's basically, I found some information on Wikipedia that talks about what a good lesson plan with the layout is. So I'm taking some information out of that to try to get this as useful as possible. And this has not been uploaded to Carica as of yet. After I get a little more done on it, I'll go ahead and upload that. And as far as blocks, I actually have a few. I'll probably end up emailing. There we go. Google Hangout changing how they work here. I'll go ahead and email that to the forum, but I'll go ahead and say I'm here. So I wanted to know on the chassis if they're actually still using the floor plate. I don't think I've seen that on some of the more recent versions of the chassis. And then also on the current interior module, it looks like they're using a tub design, probably out of carbon fiber. And I know there's been some aluminum tub designs as well. So I just wanted to know if the current design is using a tub or a frame. And the only other thing I needed to know is next week I would like to schedule the stand-up meeting as a calendar invite, but I need to know whether or not to use info@wikispeed.org's calendar or wikispeedinfo@gmail.com's calendar. The caveat being that wikispeedinfo@gmail.com, that calendar is publicly shared on the website. So if we use that one to share it, the links to join the stand-up will be publicly shared. So I'm leaning towards we'll probably use info@wikispeed.org, but I wanted some opinions and input on that. As far as next week, I'm going to work more on the WIKISPEED curriculum. I'm going to go ahead and schedule the hangout to the calendar, of course. And I can mark through this one. I actually just completed getting, hopefully, we'll find out when we're done here, but I believe I worked out the sound recording issue on the Hangout host computer that I'm using, so actually I'm going through that. And that is it for me. Did you want to go ahead, Michael?
Sure. In the past week, I did a little bit of research on the possible, I guess, less expensive parts for the bolt-together axle. I posted a couple of messages about that. And then I did some investigation on the Honda 2006 Honda Civic and I guess 2008 Honda Civic accelerator pedals. I put the signals on a scope and determined that they were not suitable for controlling the DC motor controller that I'm using right now. So that that I guess is the progress. Next week, I'm going to be acquiring an accelerator from a 2000 and something Honda Prius, which is supposed to work with this controller. So I'll be acquiring that and waiting for it to arrive. Doing a little bit of work on the battery placement. I still don't have the battery pack packaged up and insulated and stuff to put into the WIKISPEED module. And I think that's probably about as much as I'm going to get done. You want to go through the comments on your curriculum?
Sure, if you'd like to.
I think you're using the open source ecology link. Joe had sent out a DVD to someone, which is probably a better source. I don't believe that the cabin is the aluminum tubing anymore. I don't believe that the floor is an aluminum plate anymore. So probably be better to take the newest stuff that you can. The suspension seems to be the suspension and the steering seem to be the parts that are in the most flux. So that one you're actually probably not even going to have to take off the DVD. You have to take it off the Dropbox. Or are you still reflecting Dropbox to the other one? I can't remember what it's called. On
OwnCloud.
Sorry.
No, it's basically in an archive state from when I moved it. Whenever, if at some point we decide to use OwnCloud as the document repository of record there or whatever, I will make sure it's all synced up at that point. I believe also that the DVD Joe sent out was from the latest versions from the CAD folder in Dropbox. My block there would be that I don't currently have a Libre license. I think all of the CAD's or GeoDesign, I guess is what it's called now. But I can request that. I think Joe had said that we have several more of those licenses if when I get down to that. So.
Yeah, I actually did get a license, and he is within the last couple of months looked up the licenses, so it should be fresh in his mind where he's got to go to get them.
Okay, I'll follow up with him on that one. So does that wrap it up for, I guess, your backlog blocks and sprint planning?
Yes.
Hey Rob, did you want to go ahead and go? I think you're the last one on the call here.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you just fine.
Okay. I actually didn't get anything done. I'm actually just calling in to see how the progress that everybody else is doing. I wasn't able to do anything. I had some interviews and some computer problems, so at the shop. So I haven't gotten anything done. That's my stand-up.
And we've also already covered sprint planning. So did you want to do your sprint planning for next week?
Sure. My intentions are to fiberglass the top portion of the windshield frame, and that's it.
Awesome. So I believe that brings us to retrospective, which will be a score for how you feel you can contribute to the team from 1 to 10, and then score for how you feel the goals of the team are from 1 to 10. Who would like to go first?
I can go. I give myself a 3 because I thought about doing something, but I didn't do nothing. It seems like there's a lot more emails going around and information, so I'll give the team a 9.5. That's it.
You automatically get 2 additional points.
Okay, I guess that'll be me.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I'm going to give myself about a 6. I did get something done, although not very much. And I'm going to go with a 9 for the team because, yeah, there is some information flying around, and hopefully we can get people excited again.
Excellent. And I'll say for me, well, I'm going to change this a little. I'm going to bump it up a little bit because I do believe I got the recording stuff worked out the way I wanted to now. So I'll go maybe a 8 for me, and same 9 for the team for the same reason. I've seen, especially in the last couple of days, seen a lot of emails about several different things. I know the airbag test modules supposed to get shipped off. They're working on these signs for the public social media stuff. Getting to see Michael's testing of the pedal. So quite a few things going on there, and there's some other I'm forgetting right now. But so definitely, yeah, at least a 9 for the team. And I kind of skipped over any suggestions for process improvement. I actually don't have one for this week. Did y'all have anything that y'all think would make next week even better?
I don't have anything for this.
Oh, that leaves it all on you, Michael.
Well, I'm gonna go back to my old standby. Put more information in character. That would make me happier.
I'll second that.
I'll third it.
Good deal. So I believe that wraps up all the essential ceremonies. Is there anything, any general discussion or crosstalk that anybody has to cover?
I believe there was a schedule, or you were going to schedule a little bit of a hangout to get the recording done if you didn't have the time to actually participate one Thursday or another. I haven't seen anything about that schedule for a while.
Yeah, that was basically because I've changed how I've done it the past several, I think the last 3 or 4 times. So that's actually a good point, and I will put that on my list for this coming week. I'll send out an email to the forum and see if we can find a time that works good for everybody. It's kind of a simpler process at this point, so it's just a normal hangout. Excuse me. And actually, when I schedule it through the calendar, I'll document how I do that, and then I can go ahead and send something to the forum. Because at that point, I'll know exactly what I'm doing. At this point, I have no idea what I'm doing.
That makes me feel better because I never have any idea what I'm doing.
I don't really think knowing what you're doing is that important. I think it's the outcome that matters.
Plus, the whole idea is to have fun, right?
That's the whole idea.
And learn while having fun.
So, Michael, did you get to? Are you back working on the WIKISPEED engine module?
No. The car, the Mazda is fairly. We're making progress, but not having an accelerator pedal kind of put the brakes on a little bit. I'm going to work on the battery module here in the next week while I'm waiting for the accelerator to come. And the accelerator and the controller do have something to do with the WIKISPEED module, but I'm not working on the WIKISPEED module.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And my wife is asking what I'm doing with all this carbon fiber that I got, because the paper mache thing didn't really work out because the model didn't really work out.
Oh.
So she says that I'm again purchasing stuff with the intent of doing something, and it's going to be sitting there for a while. And yeah.
Oh. How much carbon fiber do you have?
I can't remember how much is in the roll. It's about 10 yards maybe.
Oh.
And 3 liters or 3.5 liters of the epoxy.
Oh, okay. So you tried the paper mache?
When I was building the model to half scale,
right.
Things kind of fell apart when the wheels looked goofy on the model.
Oh, okay.
So I've actually backed it off. The model right now is a 30% scale.
Right.
And I'm so unfamiliar with working with carbon fiber and aluminum that I fell back on what I know, which is plywood and 2x4s. And things are going okay in that, but it's kind of on the shelf. I really need to get this car rolling. So.
Right. Understandable.
So, yeah, have you worked on the door lately? I haven't heard anything about the door.
Oh,
The doors.
no, there's some, I need to get some aluminum cut. I did work on the CAD, I guess about a month ago to make sure that it all did work before getting any aluminum cut, and, I haven't really worked on it. It's ready, the aluminum's ready to be cut, but I can't pay for the aluminum to get cut, so so I was trying to get Joe to get his man to get it cut for me or for them. It doesn't matter who. I'll send him the CAD and they can get it cut and try to make it and make it work. But yeah, I'm kind of working on the windshield frame right now. I kind of got off the doors.
And now, do you do your own
Now I
welding,
do
or do you
my own
farm that out?
welding.
Because I've been told aluminum welding is more of an art form than a vocation.
It does. Once you get the hang of it, it's beautiful. TIG welding aluminum.
So it just requires more practice than most people are willing to put in, then.
It really all it requires is that you know when the aluminum, you keep the arc on the aluminum till you know it puddles, and the hardest thing to find out is, or the hardest thing to learn is when it puddles, because it kind of looks the same as it does when it's solid. As soon as it puddles, you just dip the rod into it and move, and you start moving the bead over, like pushing it with the TIG part of it. It's really not that difficult. It just takes a little.
What style do you use? Puddle and push or puddle and pull?
You only pull on TIG. You always push.
Okay.
Because I've done MIG welding.
Yes,
I've done a lot of MIG welding in my younger years, and that was you always pull it along with the MIG welding, and then TIG welding you always push it.
Well, that sounds like a very important step that I didn't know.
Oh yeah, the most important thing is starting the puddle, and maintaining it. That's the most important thing.
Hey Rob, do you think at some point you would have time to maybe make a demo of welding a couple of aluminum pieces together then? Something that Michael could watch and maybe get familiar with it by seeing it visually? Sure.
Yeah, that would be easy. I do have to do some pretty soon. I got to do some welding, some aluminum welding for the splitter. Yeah, I could do that.
Awesome.
Or even if you find a good example online, because not knowing the difference between a good weld and a bad weld, I can't really figure out which are the good demos and which aren't.
Right. Right. I'll tell you in aluminum, you know you have a good weld when as soon as you touch it, it kind of just wicks into the crack, into the joining surfaces. When it just wicks in there like water, that's a good weld. Kind of like.
So if I was going to get some.
Oh, go ahead.
If I was going to get some welding done by someone else, how do you tell a good aluminum weld from a bad aluminum weld after the fact?
That's a little tougher. There is a dye that's made that you can spray on. You spray the dye on. Well, first you primer, you prep it with a spray can, and then there's this dye you spray on it. You let it dry, then you spray another thing on it. First you wipe it. You wipe it after you spray the dye, and then you spray the developer on it, which will pull the dye out of any kind of cracks that you can't see. That's the only way you can really tell unless you X-ray. There's another, and X-ray, and there's something else too. I don't remember what it is, but that's really the only way, unless you beat it with a hammer and it doesn't break.
Yeah, I do beat the occasional thing with a hammer, but I wouldn't probably try it on the car.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing is just make sure you use a softer filler rod for the weld than the actual like 6061. You wouldn't want to use that as the filler rod. You want to use a something with less tensile strength, a little softer. Otherwise, the welds will crack.
So 6063, as far as I understand, is softer than 6061, but I don't know, like if it starts with 4, is it softer or harder?
Ah, I don't know myself. I've forgotten. I used to know. I always have to look it up when I go buying rods because I don't do that much welding. So when I'm ready to weld again, it slips my mind. But I do know you just need to go with a softer, 6061 is like 70,000 or something tensile strength. You go with something that's like 50,000, something like that. And that way, the stress won't cause it to crack there. Or like when things, bending a little bit, as aluminum doesn't like to bend.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to have much of an elastic range. Okay,
Yeah.
is there anything anybody else want to talk about?
No, not me. I'm good.
Okay, guys, I guess that's probably it for me.
All right.
All right, it's good talking to y'all. We'll see you next week.
See you, Chris.
All right, bye.
Yeah, see ya.